Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, my name is Matthias Jugel, and I came with my colleague, Mikko Braun. We are the founders of twimpact, and well, as you can see from the name, we started with social media. Twitter is in the name. We came a long day from 2009, and well, I will start with describing the company a little bit, because two properties describe twimpact in a way. We love big things, so if you give us a really big pipe of data, then we're happy. And the other one is we really have a short attention span, so if we ask a question on that data, we really want to have it now and not later. So that's how we started with our technology. We came several stages to develop real-time big data analysis. And so it has to be fast, and what we also did, we do it quite a bit cheaper than everyone else because we are resource limited, and we will use that for the story I'm going to tell you now. So let's assume we are all consumers, and what happened for me, for example, my washing machine broke down earlier this year, and what happens when you do, you look at the reviews, what good washing machine you have, and then you go to the websites and you look at washing machines and you find the best one you have, and then you buy it, and it comes to your home. And well, I bought a Miele, for example, and I'm not going to need a washing machine for the next 10 years. So that's actually where the pain begins, because I'm being stalked by washing machines in the advertisements for weeks. I would rather like to have Lego Star Wars. You know, I really like Lego Star Wars. It's much more fun. And but we talked about algorithms yesterday, and algorithms decided that I have been intensively looking for washing machines, so I get washing machines. But I'd rather like have Lego. So what can we do? So we thought about what we can do in our company, and so we want to have washing machine ads if we are looking for prices for washing machines. But in the long run, next week, the day after I bought this washing machine, I don't want to have anything about washing machines anymore. So we don't really have any interest in that. So checking prices, real-time advertisement for me, but in the long run, I would like to have my long-term interests for me. So how can we do that? So we derived this product, and we actually took the text on the Data-Days website for Pioneers quite literal. So we took a look at what Nugget has as data. And so we thought, okay, we can take this real-time stream of users browsing websites. We do get users, we know what pages they're looking at, the categories they have, and of course we know that it's going to be now. And from that, our technology is able to do two things. One is we have these user profiles. I'm sorry about Mr. Pfeiffer, it's another cell in your brain. We're going to update these in real time. We have done that before on different projects. So we update these anonymous user profiles, so we know about 1 million users or 4 million, whatever you like. It depends on what kind of computer you put there. And on the other hand, we also track the web pages that we're looking for. So we have a ranking. We have always a ranking of what's interesting on one side, on categories and web pages. On the other side, we have these user profiles, and then we match them using calibrated filtering algorithms in real time. So we know that if the user is actively looking for washing machines, he will get a washing machine ad. But if it's actually random browsing, he's looking for something else, then we can just select the best web page from his interests that is currently active and show him that. So the interesting part there is that we're not only looking at those user profiles that the individual user has, but we are tracking all these millions of users. We also have a ranking on what all these millions of users are looking at, what the interesting categories are they looking at. And we have a ranking of what's interesting there, so we can actually give a collaborative interest category to the user and provide this as an advertisement. So in the end, the result we're going to get is that I'm getting a more specific advertisement, or if you like, you could also use this in a different kind of project. And, for example, restructure websites based on this data. So we put on links that are more interesting to the user right now. But while I'm randomly browsing, I'm going to have midterm or long-term interests. And I think users are going to be more happy because I do get more Lego Star Wars advertisements, and I might even click on them if they are cheap enough, maybe, I don't know, if they're a good deal, instead of these washing machine ads, which are not going to be of any interest for me for the next 10 years. So that's about what we're going to do with this twimpact. We are in the process of talking to Nugget about that, hopefully. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. So, questions? I mean, if you like to be bored to death with technological things and math, you have time to ask my colleague, because he has all the magic done.
So we will see who has to answer that question. Because what I'm interested, as obvious as the example is, as difficult it might get if you try to generalize it. Because I might, perhaps there exists also people that are in a long-term fashion interested in washing machines, or you might be interested in Lego Star Wars just as a spot, because your daughter suddenly, is wanting something of that kind, and you hate it, personally. So my question is, how do you, I guess, machine-based or however, make that distinction to, what is a mid and long-term interest, or when I would say the washing machine example usually turns into negative interest, after buying it. So that is also a specific category. How would the machine make that distinction?
Hello? Okay. I mean, so the key point is that we track the behavior on different time scales. So you have this long-term behavior, which collects like what you've been looking in the last month or longer. And then you have this short time scale things like what you've been doing the last 24 hours, right? And based on this data, we can sort of, it's not dependent. So we don't use the information that these are washing machines, but we use the information that you've been doing for the last 24 hours, something which you've never done before, right? And this is so, and based on this, we can infer that this is probably something you're not really, not really interested in the long term, right? But it could be just the other way around. So you really like washing machines, you have your whole basement full of washing machines, and then you're looking for a present of Lego Star Wars figures for a friend or something, and this algorithm would just find it out in the same way.
Another question.
So going on the discussions we've had today, so we're talking about long-term cookie dropping and how does it work and how you're going to deal with the new European legislation on on that matter, or is it an opt-in system?
The plan is not directly that we are going to have any cookie information, so we would like to tap into providers like Nugget, for example. So they actually have to deal with that in the end.
So you're not the data handlers, you're the data processors.
We're not selling any data. So what we are doing is we take data that others collected and then turn that into more real-time recommendations.
So I also had a discussion with Ashkan Soltani yesterday, and he thought it's even like it's more privacy because you aggregate the data and then you can forget it, right? So so the time we have to keep the data is shorter because we aggregate it, we build these profiles all along, but we can also just, it's not like so you keep all the history in memory and we crunch it, but you really have the aggregated data, and then you can, So in a way, it's even better than what.
I very shortly, at the beginning, I shortly scratched the surface of that by saying that we are resource limited. So it's like we probably can't do that on a modern laptop. So, and what we do is we allocate a certain amount of RAM where we hold all the interesting users, but only for a certain amount of time. And we do throw away data after we've used them for a while. So only users who are really, really active and all the time browsing, doing stuff, they will stay there, but all their interests will, well, turn all around all the time. But we're not keeping individual data. More questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.